I don't expect anyone to believe my story. I'm sure this will be passed off as just another creepypasta. But maybe, just maybe, someone will heed the warnings that I give. The hardest part is knowing where to start, but I guess giving a little bit of history might make more sense. I am a man in my mid-20s and have only ever known my mother. Our relationship has been strained due to differences in worldviews. Don't get me wrong, my mother provided for me and did the best she could as a single mom, trying to make ends meet. She always was a bit eccentric, going on about spirituality. She would perform certain protection spells and would always be doing some type of random ritual at night. I didn't know until I started going to school that this was not normal. I still remember how heartbroken she seemed when I decided to become an atheist. The only thing I did for her is wear this silver necklace with a unique charm that I have never been able to identify, even with research. No one, even on Reddit, could never seem to give me an answer about its origin. When I was in college, studying marketing, I met Sarah. Sarah was one of those kind-hearted, free-spirited girls that you just couldn't help but notice. I had always been a shy, introverted person, so I never had the nerve to talk to her in the classes we shared. But she noticed me, and after deciding to sit by me in every class we shared, she finally broke the silence one day by saying, "I really love the charm on your necklace. It's really unique." After that, we started to hang out. It turns out she needed help with statistics, so I helped tutor her after classes. Shortly after, we started dating. She wasn't much of a partier, but she did like to go out and experience new things. She would always drag me out to see a vintage horror movie in the park, go on a random exhibition at a local museum, or go to the city's latest fair. She really helped me lighten up and not be such a shut-in. After college, I got a job at a local marketing firm, while she found a job running a local mom-and-pop shop that sold vintage goods and foods from locally sourced vendors. The owners needed so much help keeping everything running, but Sarah didn't mind. It seemed like the perfect job for her. She could interact with people and still find new, cool things to add to the store. We moved in together after college into a small apartment. It was all we could afford. Since I was working so much at the firm, being new, I got a lot of overtime. Sarah's job didn't pay as well, but she had flexible hours and was always finding ways to save money. She always had dinner ready for me with something from the local farmer's market and packed my lunches, leaving cute little notes. She was always finding ways to keep herself busy, whether it was reading books or finding a new piece of furniture that she would refurbish for either the store or us. The shop had a huge storage area in the back because the owner's husband loved to refurbish or fix some of the pieces himself. It was specifically designed for refurbishing purposes. There were stains, paints, tools, everything Sarah needed for her projects. I was so lucky to have her. I felt bad about working so much, but she didn't mind and understood. I made sure to make the most of the weekends we had together. Her parents were retired and traveled a lot, so she didn't see them much, and I barely seen my mother since college. I would visit on holidays, but it would always just be for a dinner, to catch up on my life. She adored Sarah and was so happy that I found somebody with such a pure soul to love me. Sarah adored my mother and didn't really understand why I was always so hesitant to visit and never wanted to stay long. I was just afraid that my mom's viewpoint would scare her away. But I really should have known better. I should have spent more time with my mother. I should have asked why she never wanted me to know about my father and heeded her warnings about the importance of protection from the darkness in this world. But you know what they say? Hindsight is always 20/20. Around the holidays, I was invited to my company's annual holiday party and was told that I could bring a plus one. Of course, Sarah was excited to meet the people I worked with, while I, of course, was dreading it. I could almost hear my coworkers wondering how someone like me ended up with someone like Sarah. It's not that I'm an unattractive man, I'm just very introverted at work. Pretty sure my nickname at the office is the recluse. But my work speaks for itself, and I've been given a few raises already. On the day of the party, Sarah was upset because she couldn't find the charm bracelet my mom had given her with the same charm that I had. I told her that we would look for it over the weekend, and I was sure that it was around somewhere, but I didn't want us to be too late for the event, so we could leave early and enjoy our long weekend. When we arrived, there already were quite a few people there. I introduced Sarah to a few of my coworkers. She was as charming as ever. My boss decided to introduce me to the CEO of the company. He had been so impressed with my work that he said that I deserved recognition for it. I shook John's hand. He had a charismatic way about him. He seemed charming and genuinely interested in getting to know people. He even apologized for not being able to meet me sooner. But he assured us with all of the holiday work we had been overloaded with, it would allow him to hire more people to balance the workload. So there would be no more long hours. Later in the evening, John found me and asked if he could speak with me for a moment. I nodded. Sarah was talking to one of the few coworkers, Lily, that I actually didn't mind. It turns out they were both into refurbishing old furniture. John and I were in his office. I was expecting something flashy, but it was very down to earth. He had a few personal items, pictures of him on vacations, and some statues from places he had visited. He had me sit down. I just wanted to thank you so much for all your hard work you've done. I know you've worked a lot of hours, and I'm sorry I kept you away from your girlfriend. You two seem to have a great relationship. I was almost taken aback by the thoughtful words. Quickly recovering, I replied, I understand that the company is trying to grow, and I'm new, so I have to pay my dues. Sarah has been great and understands. I'm so lucky to have her. John smiled. I asked you here because I wanted to give you a bonus. I try to be a fair man, but the work you've done hasn't been fair. You've gone above and beyond. It's hard to find good workers these days. So, there are some select few who are getting bonuses from me personally. Since this is not given to everybody, I trust you can keep a secret. I nodded in confirmation. He handed me an envelope with my name on it. I was about to put it in my jacket pocket when John interrupted me. I was hoping the amount would be adequate and help you with anything you might need. Understanding struck me. He wanted me to confirm the amount. Nervously, I opened the envelope and looked at the check. It was a substantial amount. Sir, I don't know if I can take this much. It's Very generous. John put a hand up. No, my boy. You have done well, and I feel this amount is fitting. Unless you would like more. The shock took me a second to get over. No, sir. This is more than enough. Thank you. Thank you so much. John smiled. If you don't mind me asking, how did you meet Sarah? I went into the story of how we met and showed him a picture of us that a friend took while we were out at one of the local events, not realizing it was one where my necklace was out. He asked to take a closer look, which I happily obliged. Looking at the picture, he zoomed in on my necklace. That's an interesting pendant you got there. It almost looks like a sigil, he stated with intrigue. Oh, thank you, sir. Mother gave it to me on my 13th birthday, and I always wear it. John simply nodded and then stated, Daniel, you can call me John. It's fine. I just wanted to let you know I've appreciated your work. Now, I've kept you long enough. How about we get you back to Sarah? With that, we left his office. We found Sarah and Lily still talking and sharing projects. I'm sorry to keep Daniel away from you for so long, Sarah. I hope you're not mad at me. Sarah smiled. Not at all. I wrapped my arm around her waist. John was just telling me how grateful he was for my work here. Lily chimed in. Well, you have been killing it. I don't know how you do so much and don't look like a zombie. With that, Sarah said, That's because he's Superman. John had slipped off during this time. I don't think I saw him leave. I didn't see him when Sarah and I decided to leave without saying goodbye to anyone but Lily. We got home completely exhausted, but I still shared the news of the bonus. It was enough, with our savings, to look for a house, make an impact on our student loans, and maybe I would start looking for engagement rings for Sarah. That night, I had an awful dream. I used to have really bad dreams as a child, but my mother used to console me. Monsters would be chasing me, trying to hunt me down, telling me they had to stop me. I always woke up in a cold sweat, crying for my mom. I don't quite remember when they stopped. This dream was different. My mother came to me, battered and bleeding, in panic. Daniel, you have to listen to me. I don't know how, but they found me. And I know they're going to come after you. You are the only one that can stop them. Your father gave his life to try to give me time to make sure you were protected. But they know who you are and found me to try to lure you out. Keep the necklace on and make sure Sarah always has her bracelet. They might try to use her to get to you. I'm going to try to buy you some more time. In my house, there is a book in the floorboards in the back left corner of my closet. You will find the information you need there. Also, find Serena Ortega. You can trust her to help. I've got to go. I love you. I woke up from the dream in a sweaty panic. Mom! I shouted. Danny? Are you okay? Sarah said in a groggy voice, realizing that I was on the verge of hyperventilating. She touched the side of my cheek and looked into my eyes. Deep breaths. Breathe in with me. In. Hold. Out. We repeated this until I was able to breathe normally. Okay, what's wrong? I told her about my dream. She looked at me with concern in her eyes. Do you want me to call her? I shook my head. No, I'm sure it was just a nightmare. Sarah nodded. Okay, maybe we should have lunch with her or something soon? I gave her a hug and snuggled her next to me, enjoying the comfort of feeling her beside me. That sounds like a good idea. Let's try to go back to bed. I kissed the top of her head. I lay there with her in my arms, listening until I heard her breathing fall into that slow, rhythmic pattern of sleep. My mind reeled on the details of the dream. No, no, not a dream. This was something more. It felt different, felt real. I got the news about my mom the next day in the afternoon. My mother's house had been broken into, trashed, and she was found deceased in her altar room. The police were shocked that the candles hadn't caused a fire because some of them were still lit when they found her. The chalk circle that she was lying in was barely visible beyond smudges. Sarah was my rock during this whole process and helped with everything. She even helped me spread my mom's ashes in a local forest, as per my mother's request. Everything was left to me, with only strict instructions for her to be cremated and her ashes spread. The strangest thing about the incident that led up to this was that there were no fingerprints or shoe prints around my mother's house, despite the damp ground. Also, my mother had no marks other than a strange burn mark on her chest over her heart. It was said that the break-in caused her to go into cardiac arrest. We cleared her house out relatively quickly after that and sold it to a real estate agent who also flipped houses. On the last day, the day that I closed on the deal, I went to check for that floorboard in the closet. I had been resisting the urge to check this whole time. Just as my dream had said, there was a book there. There was a letter addressed to me in my mother's handwriting. The whole book was written in my mother's mix of cursive and print handwriting that I was so used to seeing as a kid. Sarah had to work, so I was alone. This was too weird for me. I needed to get home. I closed the book, and a piece of paper fell out. Scrawled quickly on it, as if my mom was in a rush, were the words I would never forget. Keep the necklace and bracelet on. It's the only thing that can keep you safe until you're That was the last of it. I quickly grabbed the paper and shoved it into my pocket. I didn't know why, but I had an anxious feeling. Sarah, we still haven't had a chance to find her bracelet. She took it off for a project and couldn't find it afterward. I knew she was at work, but I called her cell phone anyway. No answer. I called the store, but Mrs. Smith answered, saying Sarah stated that she wasn't feeling well and had gone home an hour ago. Shit. I quickly thanked her and ran to my car. I needed to get home. I needed to make sure she was okay. She had to be okay. Bye, my little Calaveras. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Also, like, comment, share, all the good things. And yeah, that is the first chapter of I Am a Demon Hunter, and that is an original written by me. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave it on a cliffhanger. I will write more. I have a couple ideas, I just haven't quite gotten it figured out yet. But trust me, I'm getting there. I have an idea. Anyway, if you'd like to submit a story of your own, you can always send that to my email. I also have my Reddit and other socials linked down below, so you can always follow me there in case you want to get any updates, or if you follow my Reddit, you can actually read some of the stories that will be eventually coming up soon. But yeah, that is it. This video's a little bit longer than I anticipated, so I'm gonna go ahead and go because I am rambling once again. And before I go, remember, my little Calaveras, don't let anyone or anything steal your light. Check under your bed at night. And until next time, bye.